Hi out there. Today's video is a little different. I'm going to be recounting a humorous anecdote to you that you might find interesting, or you might not find it interesting. I can't really decide how you interpret it. All that is up to you. Anyway, I often find it humorous how people say that it's generally a bad idea to feel entitled to romance or sex or whatever, and I completely agree with that. I think that being entitled to sex or romance or anything like that, or feeling like you'll only find the meaning to life in either of those type of things is really stupid and short-sighted. But oftentimes people just assume that they can be entitled to my friendship and use all my potential up, and they take me completely for granted. They're the worst possible kind of friend who just, completely invalidates me, negates my feelings, treats me like garbage, like unworthy of human consideration. And then they're like, oh, why don't you want to be my friend anymore, when I tell them that I don't want to be their friend anymore. This has happened, thousands of times, so I'm very used to rejection by now, or having to move on from a friend who just completely uses me like a fucking sock. Let me tell you what. So today's story is a case like that, but it's a little bit different. So let me tell you the story of my incel friend. So this was a while back. It was a long time ago. It was about 3 years ago. This was back when I was very, very new to making friends and the process of friendship and all of that. So I was much more optimistic and hopeful about making friends, and I hadn't yet decided that I liked female friends more than male friends particularly. So I was still trying to be very open-minded about who I made friends with and make as many friends as possible, as many connections out there to try and see what could be done, kind of push the boundaries and see what was possible. And I made friends with this fucking incel. I didn't know he was an incel at first, but for the purposes of this story, I'll call him Ivan. Okay, Ivan the incel. And all this guy would talk about, every time I'd be like, hey, let's go for a walk or something, is he would just talk about, how he doesn't have a girlfriend. That would be, his main focus. Every single time we'd hang out, he'd be like, hey, Nick, I don't have a girlfriend, and I haven't had sex in, 5 months or something. And I would be like, well, that's interesting, Ivan. I've never had sex in my entire life, nor do I ever plan on it, because I'm asexual. And he didn't seem to listen to this or care about my perspective, and he'd just go on and on about how he didn't have a girlfriend, how sad this made him, how he felt bad because of it. Oh, I want a girlfriend. Oh, damn, I'm not getting laid. Oh shit, And this is all he would talk about day in and day out. It got very, very tedious, because I'd be like, hey, Ivan, check out my new comic, and I'd hold it up for him, and I'd be like, hey, here's this sketch. It's pretty cool, isn't it? And he'd be like, no, I don't have a girlfriend. It's cold out here, hence why I'm shivering a little bit. But that is an accurate impression of him. I don't have a girlfriend. And he just got very annoying, I only talked with him about, maybe 4 months or so we were friends, and then there came a point where I just kind of had to move on, because he was such an immense burden on me. He would only hang around me, and I'd introduce him to some of my female friends, some of the girls who I was friends with at that point, and he'd be like, ooh, that's hot, oh damn, and he'd try and flirt with them, and this just really disgusted me. And they didn't appreciate it either. They didn't really like him all that much. And all he would do is just hang around and, be like a total dead weight on everything. He didn't know how to have fun, because every action he took, and it was very obvious, he didn't know it was obvious, every action he took was very carefully calculated so that some girl would fall for him and become his girlfriend. And I remember thinking about how pathetic this was, but at a certain point, it seems like his disdain for women increased, and this made me totally not want to be his friend anymore, because he would be like, oh, women, damn, you know, the fembots. He used this term unironically, the fembots, and I was like, damn, Ivan, you're a total fucking idiot, you know? Just fucking educate yourself about misogyny, you disgusting piece of shit. I didn't say that exactly, but, you know, I just let him know that I don't really have any fucking patience for anyone who, like, insults girls or talks shit about them or anything. I don't know what became of him. I really don't. The last time I saw him must have been 2 years ago, but I haven't heard from him since. I actually did send him an email about a year ago. Radio silence. So I have no idea what he thinks of women anymore, what he thinks of girls. He's probably really gone off the deep end. And I feel bad for him, but I feel bad for anyone who is stupid enough to box themselves in and limit themselves with the term incel. I think that's fucking pathetic. I feel bad for them, but at the same time, it's their choice, and they will come to regret it eventually. Being an incel is disgusting behavior, and I think, honestly, that incels... I guess I never really heard Ivan use the term incel to refer to himself, but he was certainly going down that path of behavior. And I guess he thought that he could, like, be my friend because I was a guy too, and I also didn't have sex, except obviously I wasn't having sex because it's my sexual orientation. He wasn't having sex because he's just convinced himself that he's too pathetic to have sex, or that, you know, women don't want to have sex with him. And I've talked about the incel ideology before. It's miserable, terrible, fucking goofy-ass stuff. And you have to understand, as an asexual, there's nothing I find more ludicrous and stupid than someone who wants to have sex, like, very clearly, but they just don't do it, or aren't open and upfront about it. My problem is the exact opposite. I don't want to have sex, and I am very upfront about that. So I'm not sure exactly whatever happened to Ivan, but what I do know is he doesn't know how I feel about guys who are like him. He thought that by being my friend, I'd like kind of latch on to his ideas or see things from his perspective. But after talking to him and realizing how pathetic he was, and how much modern masculinity is like in a total identity crisis, just a death spiral, I don't want to hear from guys like him. I actually wanted to hear from girls who had encountered guys like him and their honest perspective on guys like him, because he was not appealing, and I didn't want to hear his fucking perspective anymore. I'd much rather hear an open and honest and upfront female perspective about topics like objectification and male insecurity, especially. And I find that difficult to come by, because some girls aren't willing to talk to me about how they honestly feel about guys because I'm a guy. But I don't like talking about, like, stuff with guys. I don't like discussing male insecurity with guys. It's always a very sad, pathetic time. Not on my end, but certainly on their end, because they feel that they can only be validated by having a girlfriend, and then they label themselves incels, which is just a complete loser move, and it speaks to a lack of self-confidence on their part, and it's very sad. So anyway, Ivan was one of the key events that really led me to just wanting female friends, because I don't want to have to deal with, like, just pathetic, weak-ass troglodytes like him. Again, it's very tiring, and it's just, I want to have sex, but I'm not gonna ask a girl even if I like her. I'm just not gonna. Like, my problem is the complete opposite. My scenario has nothing whatsoever to fucking do with that. I think I bother a lot of people, both straight guys, incels, trans masc, trans femme, all sorts of groups, because I really don't fit into any box. Like, people try and box me in. Some people confuse asexuals with incels, which fucking disgusts me. Just all around, it's disgusting if you do that. You're almost as disgusting as an incel yourself. But I annoy and bother people because I don't really fit into any readily available definition or clique or anything. The only label I choose which does apply to me is obviously asexual. Male, I'm not non-binary or anything, but if you're a guy and you identify as an incel, or you relate to, like, you know, fucking negative XP or whoever the fuck, you know, get over yourself, you know. And it really sucks that guys like you exist, because you just make girls scared of guys, and girls don't deserve to live in constant, perpetual fear that all guys want to have sex with them. I don't want to have sex with fucking anyone. I don't want to be caught up in this deranged conflict that incels have got going on. And there's too many fucking people who listen to songs like, you know, Ramona Flowers ruined the whole generation. Fucking negative XP ruined the whole generation, okay? Ramona Flowers had nothing to do with it. Anyway, yeah, incels are just like a total societal cancer. And I think we need to be more open and honest about mocking and belittling incels to the point where they don't feel any sense of, like, belonging in the world. I think that incels need to be universally, like, mocked and really have the piss taken out of them, because if they do, then they'll just go the fuck away and move on. And again, I'm really disturbed as an asexual by, like, how much credit allosexuals are willing to give incels and be like, oh, it's okay, this is just like a trend, you know, it's just how guys are nowadays. You know, they just want to get their sex on, and it's like, no, you just place too much emphasis on sex. There's no reason to become a fucking incel. Incelism is so fucking cringe. It makes me want to fucking vomit if I haven't already made my stance on that clear. Any guy that feels like they're entitled to sex with a girl will not get anywhere in the modern world, and that's, like, barbaric. It's like a barbaric, idiotic belief that we really should leave behind in the past. And I've fully accepted at this point that I'm not even entitled to friendship with a girl. I'm not even entitled to a platonic, casual friendship. So, I mean, incels are just like the bottom of the fucking barrel. Imagine thinking you're entitled to like a romantic or sexual relationship, or that would make your life complete somehow. That doesn't make life complete at all. What does make life complete is doing what you legitimately care about on your own terms and building your own self up internally. Anyway, that's the story of Ivan the Incel. This was a little bit of a different video. It's very cold out here on the grass. You can see this. It's still kind of winter. But that's the whole story. That's the inside scoop. I've never told this story. But yeah, about 4 months I was friends with just a complete degenerate sack of shit that, you know, I got tired of very quickly. I'm amazed that anyone falls for this nonsense. Like, it's just a load of fucking snake oil and a real modern societal cancer. So that's this video. Do you have an interesting, similar story? Do you have thoughts, questions? Leave them down below. I don't know. Yeah, that's it for tonight. All that and a bag of chips. Brr.